All right, everyone. I'm here today with Lane. Lane has been a member of our coaching program for a few months now, and I'm going to have Lane share his successes and a little bit about the program. So, Lane, why don't you start off a little bit about who you are, where you live, and what you were doing before you joined our program.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Luke. Lane Manning, Dreamland Real Estate, we're not preferred. I'm a local residential real estate agent and commercial developer. I live in Fitchburg, 2 kids, 10 and 13, and a lovely wife named Kristen. What I was doing before the program, so I have a unique history with you, obviously. When I moved here 7 years ago, and I joined FIT, you were one of the coaches there. I was just thinking of this last night, but I think you and Jennifer had just gotten married. Because I remember her working out with Christian early on, right? And so you weren't my coach then, but you were nice enough to keep in touch with me. You got me on you must have been a networking group or something, and you got me on your mailing list. You kept in touch with me, and I appreciate that. And life changed, jobs changed, whatever, and I had to drop that membership, that subscription for a little while because of a professional change. But I always appreciate that you kept it in there. It was a nice little reminder to me to kind of always think about my health. You always had valuable ads, even though I wasn't a member of your coaching program at the time. So I always appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So, glad to hear that. So take us through what was life like for you from a health or fitness standpoint before you started? What were maybe some of the things you were struggling with a little bit?
Sure. Snacking was always a struggle with me, and then consistent exercise. And at FIT, I was annoyed because I had a job change and I just had to drop a couple of subscriptions. Just had to get thin for a little bit, right? And I just cracked under that 265 mark for me. That was a big, big place for me. At that time, I was in the 270s. And I got down to that mark. That was a huge thing for me. I was really enjoying it. Life changed, kids got busy, et cetera, kind of got in the way. And then we came up to COVID, and I got to the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. That's why I was like, I got to do something here. And one of your emails came through the time. I was like, that's when I called you up, right? What are your programs? What are your offerings? Blessedly, good job. Congratulations. You had broken off on your own, made your own programs now. So that was very attractive. And so my big thing was just snacking and having consistent exercise. And then COVID just got to its worst point where I had to do something. So that's when I called you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, COVID definitely impacted a lot of people. So before you joined, what was maybe your biggest hesitation about joining our online fitness coaching program?
The hesitation, I wanted to, should you do the gym? Should you not do a gym? I'm at my job right now. I like to come to work. I'm more productive when I go a place. Get up, put on some pants, brush my teeth, grab a glass of orange juice, go somewhere, work, and then leave. My wife is the opposite. She can work from home in her pajamas all day and loves it. So my hesitation was, do I want to go somewhere, with equipment and a rack and all that stuff? Could I get the same thing done via virtual? That was the main hesitation. And you proved it. You proved it. You could do it wrong, right? Or you could do it. I think I joined with the coaching, just the nutrition part. And that was the biggest adjustment for me, was just changing habits. And I actually think the virtual method helped me change the habits easier, right? A little less easy to work out and have you there and be yelling at me, keep your back straight, butt down. But the eating habits was, I think, tremendously easier to do virtually. That make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate you sharing that. So what's maybe the biggest value you've gotten from the program that you didn't necessarily expect to receive?
Counting calories, legitimately tracking what you eat. And I mean, you can go, the program you had in the group, there were guys tracking grams, to people just trying to track what they eat every day. I'm kind of in the middle, right? I didn't want to do all that craziness. And lack of prepping, because I fix food for 4 people. We always, it's a family kind of thing. So the prep doesn't quite make the most sense for me, and it could. I just choose not to, make that clear. But just tracking your food, writing it down. Here's the calorie count. Here's what your budget is for the day. If you exceed it, fine, but you got to work your tail off to get back down there, right? And the combination, and I guess the whole umbrella of what you've provided is just education, right? Mm-hmm. But the whole thing about, exercise versus what you put in. If you go over, more calories burned, exercise can work it out, and that whole thing. Just explaining that to me, and again, I think it was so much more valuable coming virtually than it would have been in a gym. Because you're in the gym, you just want to lift, right? You want to lift and do the exercises and get out. But actually having a conversation to talk about these things. Here's why, if this, then that kind of thing, totally was a huge benefit for me. That's because I haven't worked out that much, right? I mean, I ride a bike every now and then, do some, a couple little body weight kind of things, but it's nothing regimented, nothing scheduled. It's just eating better. And yeah, so I guess to wrap it up, the amazing benefits you get just from eating better and thinking about the choices you make, that was really astounding to me, really surprising.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And that's important too. So what have been like one or two of your biggest wins? It's not all about like, weight loss or anything like that, but what are some of like your biggest wins as far as like weight loss, like habits built, like that kind of thing?
So I dropped under 260 or 270 again, which was awesome for the first time in a while. And I was able to stay there. And it was like a couple rough weekends, Super Bowls in there, right? And during COVID, I mean, come on, you were just a glutton, just waiting to be a glutton, right? But I dropped down, knew what I had to do. So I knew what I did on Saturday, what was bad, and corrected it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? In a healthy way. So that I think is a great victory for me because I'm still just under that. I haven't lost anything yet, even though I'm going to do something a little bit different, right? What was the other one?
Yeah, absolutely. So what are maybe some of like the habits that you feel like you've built?
So counting calories, number one, eating 3 green things a day, smoothies, leveraging smoothies, 3 to 4 times a week. Those are the big ones. It's all about decisions and choices, right? I make better choices. Even when we go out to eat, I think it through and I make better choices. Now I've got my kids thinking about this, right? I had to figure out a way to do it where I wouldn't call them fat, but we worked on it. And we're all thinking about the choices we make, right? And we take, and so actually, yeah, meal prep. I'm not a huge meal prepper, but I do it a little bit, right? When we go on trips, we take a ton of apples, oranges, and celery, and small measure. Oh, measuring. That's a huge one too. Just measuring out. I don't take it, and if you run out, you just have to deal with it, right? That's been one of the toughest things for my wife to understand. Like, if you run out, you measure this much peanut butter because it carries this much calorie count with it. When you're done with it, you just have to be done with it. Eat the raw celery stick. Sorry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we prepare a lot better. So in summing it up, preparation, making better choices, and just counting the calories that you're actually eating are the biggest adjustments that I've made that I believe are habits now that I will take moving forward.
Awesome. Really happy to hear that, Lane. And then last question. So for anyone who's on the fence about joining the Luke Riggs fitness program, what would you say to that person?
Do it. I was on the fence for a year and a half, finally did it. You give options. I think you give great options, and I'm assuming you'll keep as you grow and add coaches and stuff. You'll be able to offer more options. Definitely do it, even if you take the first step of nutrition only. There's nothing better than your health. I mean, I'm 47 years old. I can see it. I saw it. Another thing too. I didn't even say this much, but I saw my kids starting to look like me a little bit because I was losing a little bit of control with them. Right, I had to kind of gain control over them. And it's a whole lot easier. They don't know this, but you and I know this. It's a whole lot easier to make corrections early before it gets way too bad. And make a couple adjustments now to kind of make your life better. So that was my big push. I guess, there's a whole dichotomy conversation, but you got to find your big why and all that stuff. But I would not hesitate joining you at all. It's online, it's convenient. You make it as simple as possible. You're passionate about it. You have a lot of great resources to talk to, whether it be actual coaches or other people in the program that are just great to talk about at varying levels of their conditioning, right? You've got some athletes like training for, marathons and whatnot, and you got some dad bods like me, and even worse than me down the other side. They're great to bounce things off of and, just come up with better solutions. Another one, Mark gave me one. I don't use mayo anymore. I haven't used mayo in probably 8 months. I just use mustard instead. And I never would have thought of it, right? That's what I'm saying. Just the benefit of having someone else. It's like coaching. It's just the benefit of having a coach to offer some different suggestions. Here's what I've seen happen before. Totally worth it to me. I wouldn't argue it at all. That's how you
Awesome.
do it.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Lane. And thanks again so much for hopping on and sharing your results today.
No worries, man. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.